To check out the entire show, hit the link at the bottom of the screen. It's available exclusively on odds.com. We move on to a very important game for us up here in the North. Celtics, Raptors.
Are they in the North, though? No.
Well, I know that Portland is officially a little higher on the map. And
that's a sore subject. My bad.
It's all good. It's all good.
Trying to poke the bear, bro.
All good. Celtics 4-3, 2-2 on the road at the Raptors, 1-4, 1-1 at home. We are in Tampa, Florida. God, it pains me. It pains me to say that shit. Amalie Arena, are you kidding me? Celtics, and if there was ever a time when this basketball team needs our city to support them and be behind them, it's now. It's fucking now with Siakam falling apart mentally. We need to support him. We need to be there. What's he getting at fucking Amalie Arena, man? I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that shit right.
Pretty women, I know that, though. But you got a lot of Toronto too, though. So he ain't feeling too good.
Raptors 11th in pace, 102.6. So let's talk about Celtics first. On the second half of a back-to-back, they played tonight. They beat the Pistons 122-120. Last second bucket by Jason Tatum. How often are we going to be saying that? Tatum went for 24 points, 8 boards, 12 assists, but it was Jaylen Brown, 31 points, 13 of 16 shooting. His only misses were from 3. He went 5 for 8. Celtics shot a season best 57%. Dwayne Casey said it felt like they were hitting everything they shot. And I saw Dwayne Casey. The last time I saw him, we were under an overpass, and he pulled up beside me, and I just because I was so excited to see him, I smiled, and then I gave him that, and then he just shook his head and drove away. But his team right now with the Pistons have so many flaws, and they're on this card as well. So we will talk about, I don't need to hammer this right now, but Tatum and Brown score 47.2% of Celtics points. And I know that Kemba is not here, and he'll change that, but that's a serious problem. This is a third game in 4 nights. Has there ever been a better situation for the Raptors when Brown and Tatum have to go all out and shoot lights out to get a win, to barely get a win?
Right.
And now the Celtics fly from Detroit to Tampa. Raptors have lost 4 or 5 to start the season. They're coming in off a 120-116 loss at New Orleans on Saturday night. Siakam, 10 points, 4 boards. He's fouled out of back-to-back games, averaging 16.8 points, 7.8 rebounds, hitting 39.5% from the field, 28% from 3, and we're paying him $34 million a year. The team is hitting just 33.2% from 3. If it wasn't for Chris Boucher, we wouldn't be able to smile when we talk about the Raptors. This is a Raptors spot.
Yeah, definitely.
In saying that, I don't want them early.
No.
And I don't even know if I want them first half. I think this is just a Raptors full game spot for me at this point. But let's hear what you guys have to say. We go back to Wham Bam to start this one, Celtics Raptors.
That's very interesting breakdown. I definitely agree. This gotta be a Raptors spot, full game. I kind of would say it's a first half spot as well, just because, I mean, they could easily mess up in the first quarter, you know what I mean? But get their shit together in the second half. The logic is that they're shooting pretty bad, though. They're shooting worse than this Boston team. Boston isn't, they're not doing anything down low like we always knew they were going to do. But so that's kind of the same story for them. That's another reason why I feel like Toronto knows this team. A divisional battle. You see how these games end up going later on. I mean, recently. And like you guys said, with these 2 series games, with these series matchups, basically, it seems like these guys are going to go ahead and go hard in their division. I think this is an important game because we don't have that many games left. You got to get it where you got the spot. This is off a back-to-back. You might even see some guys being rested for for Boston. I wouldn't be surprised if you see some of these guys rested that don't be questioning. But I honestly don't have an actual play before I started here. So I do like Toronto, though. Toronto makes maybe on my card for sure, just because this is one of their spots that they're a lot more rested. They've been playing pretty bad. They've been down themselves. They got the situation with Siakam, like you said, man. Come on now. this guy cannot come up here and play bad after you just had this situation, bro. You just can't do it. So I honestly like Toronto to come out and bounce back, and that just because Boston just in a bad spot, and like you said, man, they're not getting nothing from Jeff Teague. They're not getting nothing from some of these guys here. So I don't really like this Boston team that they've constructed so far. Some of these teams, like Miami, I believe, they kind of were going in harder on free agency rather than figuring out what they should have been doing for this next coming season. So neither here nor there on this one. At this point, I'm leaning Toronto though.
Well, we'll come back to you, see if you pull the trigger. If this Celtics brass think that Tatum and Brown can do what they're doing over a 72-game season and then go into the playoffs and do it as well, it's too hard. And maybe at this young of an age, they might be able to barely pull it off, but this is not a winning formula for playoff success. Let's talk to Dutch Boy Fresh here, Celtics Raptors.
Okay, so it's crazy, Jim, that you started off by saying, man, this is a Raptors spot, because when I'm looking into it, everything points to the Celtics numbers. It's crazy, right? The numbers. Everything I looked, I was like, wow. But it screams to me Raptors spot as well. Like you mentioned, tough game tonight. Went down the last shot. Celtics 8-point favorites. They win by 2. They just, 3 games, 4 nights, I believe. To me, I just don't want to. It's hard to go against the Jalen and Tatum show. They're the 2 best players on the court. If one of them if you get blessed and one of them don't have to play, then Toronto's obviously the look. And they might be in this spot. But I just can't go against Boston when I know they have the better team, the better coach, and the better players. You're absolutely right, Jim and Wham. This spot screams Toronto. But everything on the court that I see from my eyes and the numbers say Boston. And Boston is 5-2 in the first half this year. They actually lost their last 2 first halves to Detroit. So I do expect Boston to come out and play very well. I lean Boston first half, but I'm not going to make anything official in this game when it comes to sides, simply because to me the spot does scream Toronto. But when I look into it and everything to me says Boston, it's hard for me to go to the window with that. And like I mentioned, Jalen and Tatum is their show, Now, in saying that, from a props perspective, I like Marcus Smart. He's, I expect him to play. I expect him, not to leave anything out. He's going to leave it all out on the court. Back to back, 3 games in a row, 3 out of 4, 5 out of 6. It don't matter if you play every game twice on Sunday. You're going to get 110 from Marcus. So in the last 2 games versus Toronto, he's averaged 19 points and 7 assists. He's averaging 11 and 6 on the season, and just this evening he had 17 and 9 versus Detroit. So I wouldn't be surprised if Jalen or Tatum do get a sit, which is even going to be better for me with Marcus. But I do expect him, and as you've seen with Kimba being out, he's controls the ball a lot. The ball's in his hand a lot. Now we know who he wants to get the ball to, but Marcus has the ball a lot, and nobody's going to punk him and tell him actually what to do. He's just a team player. He gives it to who he wants to. He knows what to do with it. But he's the alpha male on that team. So he's getting the ball. He's getting the minutes, and he'll get the shots. So I really like Marcus Smart here. He's been playing a decent ball, and he matches up well against Van Fleet and Lowry, either one of them.
He does.
Do you have any do you have anything on there for them?
I do. His points are at 13.5. Do you want points and assists, rebounds, or points?
Just the points and assists, Jim.
Points and assists for Marcus Smart, 19.5. So points are at 13.5. Points and assists are 19.5.
What do we do there, boss?
The juice is minus 113 in points and assists, and the points to the over is juice to minus 114, minus 108 to the under.
Okay, let's go minus 113 points and assists.
All right.
Like I mentioned, Jeff Teague, he comes off the bench. He's more of a scoring point guard. When it comes down to it, Marcus Smart's actually their playmaker, their get others involved player.
Agreed.
He's not looking to score. He's going to shoot wide open shots, and he's not shy. Don't get me wrong. That's why I don't mind the points. But he's definitely going to be, getting some easy buckets, getting into those studs, Tatum and Brown, and the under 8-1 in the last 9 meetings. So I strongly believe this is an underlook too. But I'm gonna stay away from that. I'm just gonna go with this prop, keep it at that. But I do lean the under.
The total has come out at Bet365.
What is the total there, Jim?
Nice.
It's kind of dangerous. It's 215.
Yeah. And
So
Boston can catch fire. So
and it can be a low scoring game,
right?
And still get over that.
Yeah.
You know.
I lean under, but I'm gonna stay away from the sides and just expect a good hard fought game.
Bet365's hanging a -2.5, and I'm all over that. In fact, the double up here won't be a first half full game. The double up here will be a Raptors team total over. I just think if we keep coming at them in waves and empty out our bench and run, I think Boston's going to be hesitant to play Jalen and Tatum 37 minutes and having them run into the ground. So, I am going to double up here. The Raptors full game -2.5 is available tonight, so I'll bet it tonight. But the team total over will be bet as soon as I wake up. Wham! We have Dutch on Marcus Smart over 19.5 points and assists. I'm full game -2.5 and the team total over. Is there anything for you?
I'm going to stay off this game just because I have a little bit more action. I don't want to push pressure here, but I am leaning Toronto. It might be on something that I tweet out a little bit later on. So I'm not on it right now, but you never know.
You're 215.5 full game under or full game, Jim?
215 flat.
Oh, yeah.
215 flat.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay off of that. I mean, this game screams under to me, but that's pretty low.
Yeah, that last game was set at 215.5 against New Orleans, and they went over.
I lost that too. All the numbers pointed under and that shit. That first quarter.
That was the first. That was the first over for New Orleans, I believe.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. So I took it on the chin on that one. So.
All right, that is Celtics Raptors, a huge game. We're 5 games in the season, and it's a must win. It's freaking must win. We're losing our shit.
Remember, Boston had a back-to-back after you beat them, bro. But I'm glad you cashed in them.
It's perfect. I want them as tired as possible. All right,
I might jump on it, man. It makes me want to bet it, honestly, because everything in Toronto, and you're so happy and you're so eager to jump on it, knowing that you're not that high on the way they've been playing as well. So it makes me think that, man, Toronto,
Lowry's not going to allow this team to.
Yeah,
they started out 1-4. It's unacceptable, and now we have our biggest rival.
Yeah,
I think
it comes down to Siakam. I think it comes down to Siakam.
That's what I'm saying.
You're gonna get it from Van Fleet. You're gonna get it. You're getting from Lowry. Siakam's got to give you 20, 24, 25.
They gonna smash, bro. I don't know why I'm not making this.
If that's the case, then our season's over. If that's the case, because we don't know if he's mentally tough enough.
Well, I'm not too high on simply on Toronto because I don't believe they made any moves to get better. They got worse. They lost 2 big men.
Well, we thought Baines. We expected Baines to do a little more than 7 points a game. Isn't he supposed to hit outside shots?
I mean, Baines is just a big dude. He just takes up space.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're expecting Baines to do something to change your team, then
not change the team, but not be a liability.
Right.
He often played well against us.
I felt like they needed to make a move to get better, and they lost Ibaka, lost Gasol, and brought in Baines. So to me, they got worse in that exchange and didn't bring anything else to add.
I agree. Players don't want to come up. They don't want to play in Toronto, man. They don't want that 45 minutes at the border.
Time to get that money because you do whatever the fuck you want in Florida. Shit.
But they don't want that 45 minutes at the border.
Right. No,
45 minutes. That's what they all talk about.
That's why you pay Van Fleet that big money, huh? Because he was willing to stay.
We're also madly in love with him. And if he can have whatever he wants in our city. Thank you, Fred Van Fleet, for signing with us. But he takes a lot of heat here. He takes a lot of heat that he's just an average. He's a poor shooter. He's not a good defender. I think he's a extremely smart basketball player. Someone I trust implicitly. Someone who's consistent. And he's a nice piece on a great basketball team. He shouldn't be the piece.
Right. He gets his most out of his talents. We'll say. I mean, you can't be mad at that.
How you guys feel about the rumors about Siakam getting traded for Harden, though? I know this is off subject, but
Harden does not want to come to Toronto.
He should, though. The fucking clubs is banging out there, no?
Well, they were before the virus swept in.
I can see him out there with Drake and shit. Come on, man. He'd be a Drake group. Harden and Drake group. He'd be perfect.
We don't want
we don't want him.
We really don't. I don't see how that would work with our basket. We'd have to start all over. Like we put so much. We've invested so much in Van Fleet and Lowry. Now we're going to bring Harden out there.
Just doesn't really make sense anywhere. To be honest with you, he sure as hell don't make sense in Brooklyn.
He's a tricky player to figure out how to win a championship with.
And I'm glad people waited and stayed here because I'm going to take Toronto with you guys. They go to smash, bro. Go ahead and add that too, bro. Add that too, bro. Add that shit too.
Wham, I can give you -2.5. -2.5 at Bet365.
I appreciate that.
Bet365. Wham has come in on the Raptors here -2.5, -110.